Greetings one and all, welcome back to the second video in our Star Wars IP series. Today we'll be looking at Star Wars Outer Rim, which allows you to play as one of the scum and villainy in the galaxy. Think Boba Fett, Han Solo, as a smuggler, play as a bounty hunter. It's a sandbox game, which means once you're all set up and ready to go, you can go and do basically whatever you want in the game. Whether you want to smuggle goods, collect bounties, be a mercenary for different factions, so on and so forth. It gives you freedom to go and do basically what you want. Play the game as you see fit. So here's the board set up. As you can see, it's a rim shape, obviously the outer rim. There we go, from one side all the way around to the other. Now basically in the game you pick a character. Everyone gets a starting ship, which is double-sided, as it can be the G1A Starfighter or the G3 Rigger. They have slightly different stats depending on how you want to go. Like this one, for example, is faster but not as good as combat, whereas this one's slow and slightly better. Each player also receives a player board where you put your character and your peg, which gives you your fame along the board. First person to 10 fame wins the game. Also has sliders for the four main factions in the game, whereas you start the game with neutral standing with each of the four major factions: the Hutt, the Pike Syndicate, the Imperials and the Rebels. You have a slider token, so if you do a job for, let's say, the Hutts, you'll gain positive reputation. If you do something that's against the Hutts, it'll slide back down to neutral, or if you're already on neutral, it'll slide down to negative, which give you bonuses and positives and negatives depending on which faction and where your sliders start. Now the aim of the game, as I say, is to get to 10 victory points. Is the base game recommendation. You can go high as 12, or you can set it to 8 if you want a shorter game. So the idea is you pick a character, pick a ship, your character card goes here and it'll have a personal goal on the card, which allows you to then, once you've done the personal goal, flip your character over to make it better, gives you better things. You have slots here for your jobs that you've got going on at the time, and your personal gear, which you can buy from the market, which is these cards along here. You can also, once you gain enough money doing the work or whatever, you can upgrade your ship, your starting ship, to something a little more familiar in the game. For example, if you get enough money, you can end up getting the fire spray basic one, or for slightly more money you get slave one, which again is slightly better, which is Boba Fett's actual ship. Say there's a choice of ships in here. There's the Millennium Falcon, there's various other types. So depending on what your starting character is, you might want to aim, let's say you start with Boba Fett, maybe you want to aim to get your ship eventually to be the slave one. If you're starting off as Han Solo, you might want to make it a personal goal to get the Millennium Falcon, so on and so forth. Obviously with your starting ship as well, you have place for cargo, mods and crew. Each of the better ships have better slots for more stuff as well. Now the aim of the game is to travel around the outer rim, visiting planets. Let's say you visit Mon Calamari. You'll turn over a Mon Calamari card, so you see what the job is on there. You then, once you've gone to a planet and picked up a job, you'll have these encounter cards that are printed on the card, and you look through the deck to find the relevant number. And each one of these also has various different jobs or tasks to complete. It'll tell you all about those on there. You have space encounters. Again, telling you what happens if you jump into places, and you'll find these nav points along the way. You might have an encounter on one of the nav points. You also have these markers here, which you place the tokens on. These things, which are personality encounters that you'll have on the planet. You may have a bounty for one of them, in which case you'll go into combat. If you win, you can collect the bounty on them, giving you more money. Others you might want to recruit as crew for your ships, or they might give you a bonus or a negative. You can go to the market to pick up upgrades and things on your ships. These are the bounty ship upgrades. These things are obviously upgrades as well. And there we go, things like that. They'll have a cost on them that you pay. We also have a deck here, which is if you want to play solo. This is like the AI deck, which tells you how the AI will play in certain circumstances. So you can play solo on your own. The end caps here have fleets that will come after you if you have a negative reputation, or maybe give you a bonus if you're positive with them that allows you to fly through them. If you've got a negative trait with them, you obviously have to fight them in space. Here we've got the Rebels and the Pike Syndicate. This side we have the Imperials and the Hutts, and there's 4 tokens for each of the factions, which are these space ship encounters that you'll have to defeat in order to go past if you got a negative encounter. If you manage to defeat them, you gain the credits. So that's basically the game, guys. You'll travel around doing jobs, collecting bounties, transferring cargo, smuggling, encountering characters from the Star Wars universe, traveling to planets, getting different jobs, so on and so forth. Again, it's a sandbox game. You can go and do what you want. There's no set rules to how to win the game. Go and do what you want, travel to what you want, pick up whichever jobs you want. Really good in that respect. So that's the base game of Outer Rim. Expansion, there is only one at the minute. There is a fan-made one on Etsy that someone has made, which at the current prices is a bit pricey, but it does come with a lot of stuff. I think it's about £90 odd on Etsy. So what's that? 120 bucks maybe American. But again, it's quite expensive for what it is. But the actual official one is unfinished business there. Now what this does, if we look on the back, it gives you a new AI deck, 8 new characters, 8 new different ships, more planet encounters, more encounter cards, more nav cards, basically more of everything. but it also comes with other modules which allow player-to-player interaction a little more. You get these favour tokens where you can ask a favour from another player. You'll give them their token and use, say, one of their skills if you need to, or one of their ship upgrades if you need to in a certain place. Now the problem with that is, if you want to give them that, they can call on the favour back at any time and you cannot refuse. It also comes with personal gold cards, which, if I can just get the box open, which are these things here. And there's 4 things on this one. Basically, it lets you not only get to your favour points, your fame points in the galaxy to win, but you also have to complete what's on your card here. Makes the game a little bit longer, but you can always drop down the amount of fame in order for you to win the game. Once you reach, let's say you're playing to 10, once you reach 10 and you've completed all these on here, on these cards, it will have a final thing that you can do, and if you complete that, you win the game. It also comes with 2 new end pieces, which is probably the biggest way the board is changed. They have core worlds on them. They'll still have the 4 faction starter places, but it's 2 end pieces which allow you to go from one end of the galaxy through the core to the other, instead of having to go all the way around. Let's say you're in the planet here and you need to get all the way over here. Instead of travelling all the way along, you can just jump through. Makes the travelling a lot better. So that's the expansion, guys. Unfinished business. Again, Fantasy Flight Games, quality of the production is of the highest. Card quality, everything is of a really high standard. My thoughts on the game: if you're going to pick up Outer Rim, or you've already got it, I would suggest getting this straight away as well. It doubles the amount of content basically in the game. Gives you new ways to play the game, gives you slightly more direction in which way you want to play the game if you use those direction cards with the different conditions on, and it gives you the ability to jump between the 2 ends of the board. So I would highly recommend picking up the expansion. If you haven't already got it, it's a really good expansion to get. And as I say, there is an unofficial one on Etsy as well. But I say it's about £100, £90 to £100. But again, that does come with a lot of stuff, but it's not an official Fantasy Flight one. But I've had a quick look on Etsy and see what it does, and it does look quite good, but it's a little too pricey for my wallet at the minute. So there we go, guys. That's Star Wars Outer Rim. Significantly different from Rebellion, which we looked at last time. Rebellion, obviously, you're playing as the whole Empire against the whole Rebel Alliance, trying to conquer the galaxy. This one scoots it down a little bit, where you're an individual ne'er-do-well from the fringes of the galaxy. So that's Star Wars Outer Rim, guys. Next one I believe I'm going to cover will be a bit of a controversial one, because I have a few things to say about the company that stopped producing it, even though it didn't produce anything for it. And that's going to be Star Wars Armada, which is big fleet combats in space. It's actually my favourite Star Wars game at the minute. But we'll get onto the pros and cons of that when we get onto the video. So that's the next one, guys. Star Wars Armada. This was Outer Rim. Sandbox game. Go and do what you want. Play as a bounty hunter, scum, villainy, smuggler, mercenary. So there we go, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next video.